What's good, YouTube fam? It's your boy Tony, aka Descendant of Chaos and Controversy, and it appears that I have to revisit a familiar topic to discuss because whenever there's something that is put on the table for people to, I guess, give their feedback, add a little input, give their opinions about, within the details of doing that, you get people who get offended, defensive, this, that, and everything else. And I'm not excluding myself from the equation because I am too as a part of the problem. Okay? But I try my best to articulate my standpoints with a sense of fairness, responsibility, and above all, if anything, responding with a level of respect and understanding where other people are coming from without added insults. Okay? Now, that being said, that being said, I say it many a times, repeatedly, reiterated. My mission statement, or a part of my mission statement, is to balance the scales. By balancing the scales, if I have a viewpoint on something, I'm going to take that perspective and try to highlight the contradictions of what's acceptable in regards to one thing versus on another note, it is looked at as not being acceptable. Okay? Now, whenever we have a subject that is addressed, whether it's law enforcement, police brutality, racism, economics, politics, um, sports, Olympics, athletes, or whatever it is that it is the trending thing to pinpoint and look at and offer our 2 cents about it, so to speak. Okay, we get those who have a sensible standpoint, whether they agree or disagree on something, and 9 times out of 10, if validated, they have a sensible argument. Okay, and people are entitled to that. People are entitled to it. You have the right to give your opinion. You have the right to take a stand on something you believe in, and whether people agree with you or not agree with you, hey, it's your right. We can all agree with that, right? Okay. But then it gets to a point where people get emotionally invested in conveying their point to where they cross the line and start becoming disrespectful. Okay? I know at times, especially earlier on when I started getting involved with the social media, interacting in the comment section, and I've said this before, that I was passionate about where I was coming from and the point I was trying to make, that I felt that, hey, I'm going to start attacking. But then I had to take a step back, reevaluate how I approach things, not giving the other person a chance to allow me to understand where they're coming from respectfully. Instead, I started attacking, becoming just as ignorant as those I would criticize. Okay? Okay? You're following me, right? Now, with that being said, I do my best. I do my best to try not to generalize when I'm trying to address a particular issue of concern, trying to highlight the particulars. Like if I'm speaking in regards to racism. I try to talk about particular white people. If I talk about people that make the black community look bad, I'm trying to focus on those particulars. Or if I talk about people in the political arena and where they fall short and the contradictions and the hypocrisy that we see coming from all around, I try to pinpoint that without, generalizing and stuff like that, you know? And I try to look at things in detail to say, well, okay, if you're going to point this out, well, within, all due respect and in the interest of fairness, don't just look over here, look over there as well. Because the same faults you see in this particular individual the same thing can be said about the other individual. Okay? So even though people have entertained biased opinions and things like that, you know, it's like okay, if I'm gonna talk in support of the black community, right? And I go along with the rhetoric saying white people are the problem for the fact that the black community isn't where it should be. That's me scapegoating every white person, saying that, they're the reason why black people haven't succeeded or elevated or whatever the case may be. And there are validated arguments that can probably support that, depending on how you dissect it, okay? But is it 100% accurate? No. Because if you're going to go along with that argument, then that's just saying, hey, we're going to just conveniently disregard those who had advocated for, black people's successes. We are going to just totally disregard the white people who have supported equality, went against discrimination, fought to end segregation, gave people a chance, intervened when you had those within the white community who said they were anti-black. They don't belong here. They're not even looked at as being human. They're savages. They're thugs. They're uneducated. White people said no. The reasons why all of that is because of the things that were put in place that wouldn't allow them to be entered into civilization, to become a part of society. So when you kept them at bay, they wasn't able to develop or progress. But now that we want this to happen, you guys have a problem with it. So there were white people that were going against other white people when it came to black people having their position here in this country. So black people can't say that all white people are the devil or the enemy, this, that, and everything else. Now, are there those in particular? And this is where a lot of this conflict and misunderstanding comes into places, because the wrong people get offended when you're talking about the people that you are specifically directing these particular talking points and argument towards. Where the problem comes in is that when you get particular people who get offended, then the ones that need to be addressed get a pass. They get to sneak by while everybody's distracted and all in their emotions and shit, and they continue on doing the same stupid fuckery, and nothing gets resolved. So the people who we have a problem with continue on stirring the fucking pot and being racist, being ignorant, and stuff like that. because we're distracted by the generalizations. Okay? I don't know how I can make it any more simpler, but that's what it is. Same with the black people. Same with the black people. A lot of people entertain the rhetoric, and it is noticeable. It's cool when you get certain black people that shit on the black community, generalizing every black person as being a thug, uneducated, um, not properly raised, misguided, um, dehumanized, derelicts of society, um, the unfortunates, the minorities, uh, 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 um, non-productive, the stain, or even so far to say niggas, right? All clumped into that negative perspective, right? And I said it before. So if a lot of people go along just to say, yeah, you're right. I can see that. I can see that. Yes, you're absolutely right. Yep, I don't disagree there. Yep, yep, because yep, there's a lot of niggers that are running around and they are fucking uneducated. They're not civilized, and they don't have a sense of respect, and they all acting ignorant and stuff like that. I don't know where we went wrong, and it's just unfucking believable. I'm just telling you right now. It's just I just don't understand it. I don't want them in our neighborhoods. I can't go shopping. I can't do none of this stuff. And every time I turn around, there's a nigger here, there's a nigger there, da 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 da. And people, will say, oh yeah, you're right. They are niggers and stuff like that. Oh yeah, there's some ignorant motherfucker. Yeah. But you discount the people that go to work, mind their own fucking business. You got people in these HBC colleges that graduate. You got these people that join the military to go fight for the country, but yet, another thing is that black people are unpatriotic, right? We all just have a distaste for this country, even though it's just certain things about this country that we highlight and point out that say, hey, here's where the problem lies. Can somebody please fix it so we can be better together? But that has a bit of controversy thrown into it and some pushback. People like my parents, who adopted and raised 2 kids, highly educated, worked hard, didn't rely on the government for shit. Even though they came from a time where they dealt with discrimination and racism and all of that stuff. Dad's parents were sharecroppers and stuff. They've been through that time that people would say, oh, it wasn't that bad. Oh, no, that time didn't exist. Your parents didn't go through no shit. But you forget about those that join law enforcement or EMTs, college professors, teachers, deans, sitting presidents, not, for the country, but, for whatever, judges, lawyers, technicians, inventors, entrepreneurs, nurses, doctors, scientists. All of those people are conveniently, and I've made this argument before, but again, like I said, I have to revisit this conversation because people just, and it shit has gotten beyond the point of being ridiculous. Now, no one could ever say, because I get this a lot. well, Tony, blah, 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 this. I said, have I ever uttered a racial slur saying that a white person was a cracker? Indicating that, hey, back in the days, they holding the whip, cracking the backs of blacks. No. Did I ever call a white person a honky saying, hey, I'm outside of your fucking house. I want that black pussy. Honk, honk, honk. Oh, hold up. Let me get ready. My sugar daddy, my honky's here. No. Did I ever say anything about redneck, white trailer trash, whatever, whatever, whatever? No. No. I don't. I don't. But, ironically, and it's funny how when I could, and this goes back to what Dave Chappelle said when he made it a point to say this. Okay? He went on to say something to the effect of, he went to go make a joke about gay people by calling them the F word, because you gotta be politically correct, right? Now, comedians can't, go about telling jokes because we are in a highly sensitive time right now. But his producer said, hey, Dave, you can't say that. He said, okay, all right, I agree. If it's something that's going to stir up the pot and, cause people, I understand. Goes to walk out. But then he said, hold up, wait a minute. How is it that I can drop the M-bomb with such impunity, but I can't say the F word? And his producer said, because, David, you are not gay. Dave Chappelle said, interesting. Okay. Well, I'm not a nigger neither. Boom. Boom. With that being said, why is it cool that you get those when you have people applauding when you can say anything? If you're black and you say anything negative about other black people, that's applauded. It's like, yeah, people jump on that bandwagon and say, yeah, exactly. But if you say anything negative about white people, no, don't go there. Don't go there. You can talk about black people being drug dealers and drug addicts, and people say, yeah, you're absolutely right. They're all drug dealers and they're all drug addicts. They don't do shit for themselves but bring the black community down. Well, how can you bring a black community down if there's a community that don't all agree with the drug dealers or the addicts? But it was cool when all these laws were made to condemn and convict people that were hooked on crack and shit like that, right? Within the black community, because that's primarily who or what the laws have primarily targeted. Who they targeted, right? But then we forget that coke was a white man's drug. Black people couldn't afford that shit. They had it all within their own little cliques, go to colleges, especially in the entertainment industry. Which, by the way, when I made the examples of, the positive people in the black community that are productive, and I'll say it again, I did not include athletes. I did not include entertainers, actors. None of that, Because I know those are the people that are primarily highlighted to overshadow everybody else in the black community to say, hey, they're doing good. No, that particular group is doing good. To the average folk, No. Because then the same could be said about the white entertainers and the white athletes and the um, actors and what have you. But getting back to my point, but when people conveniently disregard the fact that there are white drug dealers, matter of fact, who the ones that are found growing cannabis in their houses or somewhere in the forest or whatever the fuck. All these meth labs that they raid and busted if they didn't blow up the fucking trailer or their houses already. Because they got combustible ingredients and shit. Selling crystal meth, opioids. But, oh, wait a minute. It's an epidemic. It's funny how we conveniently twist the wordplay around and where it is applied to condemn versus who we got to save and how it is treated. Oh, these are throwaways. These are convicts. These are criminals and stuff. Oh, these are people with just issues and problems and stuff like that. How do we address that? How do we remedy this? We entertain a lot of contradictions and we entertain and support a lot of hypocrisy. And when it's addressed, people get all fucking offended and defensive. I would like to ask why is that, but at this point, I really don't give a fuck and don't care. Because it's pointless to try to reason, rationalize, point out the obvious, because in return, other people don't fucking give a damn or really care. As long as there's conflict involved, as long as there's some kind of controversy that sets the tone and promotes a particular narrative, right? But it's just crazy. But again, part of the problems or one of the major factors, the contributing factors to a lot of why we're at a I don't know a stand against is because we entertain a lot of generalizations. You know, we have an overall perspective instead of looking at individuals because we clump everyone into one category. And that primarily is unfair looking at it across the board. It is. And I know a lot of people know this. And they're antagonists in those areas, so to speak. They know how the script is written. They know the plays. They know how things are orchestrated. And we fan the flames of shit that's very trivial. But again, I guess we are all at fault for entertaining nonsense instead of taking a step back and saying, damn, there's more important things to focus on. There's more important things that need to be addressed and then come up with solutions to fix the problem. But we don't because we are comfortable with allowing problems to exist. We don't want things to be fixed. We don't want things to get better. We feel comfortable within our own chaos. Something to think about. Until next time, until next video, please like, share, and subscribe. Hit that like button or that dislike button, thumbs up, thumbs down. Please give me your feedback. Tell me what you think. And again, peace.